Hello everyone, welcome to my channel or welcome back. This is Marjorie. Today I am going to make a swag, and I'm starting off with this work reel from Craft Outlet, and I'm just attaching some pipe cleaners to each of the intersections. So here you get a better look. I actually do kind of like a V shape. And then I cross the right up under, coming out the left, and then I take the left and go up under and cross it to the right, and then I just give it a few good twists, and this is how I create the work rail. This is yet another very affordable way of making your own work form. And here I've got this beautiful houndstooth 10-inch Deco mesh. It is pretty thick and very nice. So I just measured out 6 inches and bunched it up, and then I'm putting it at the end of the work form. And then from that pipe cleaner, I'm going to measure out 12 inches. And on that 12-inch mark, I'm going to put it in the second pipe cleaner. Here I'm just trying to gauge. I was going to do 10, but I was like, I just kind of wanted to play with it a little bit. So I went ahead and tried to do 12 inches, this one, because it's 10 inches, so it's not going to be as full when you puff out the poofs as it would if it was a 21-inch. So I was just trying to make sure I had good coverage. And then I just keep going. From every pipe cleaner, I measure out 12 inches and put it in the next one. And then here, after I tie it into the very last one, I measure off 6 inches again, and I put it in the pipe cleaner and tie it off. And then on the other side, I do the exact same thing. Now, as you see, there are pieces in the middle, and you could actually put a third row in there if you wanted to. So I take and cut off the little jagged part, and I cut the rest of the roll down into 17 inches. I could have done 18, but I wanted to be sure, because sometimes the rolls can be a little bit short. And then all I'm doing here is doing a ruffle method, making sure both ends of the ruffles, the sides are tucked in. Now it does fray quite a bit at the end where you cut it, but it's okay. I don't have a lot of it coming off, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And with it tucked underneath, you absolutely cannot tell once all of this Deco mesh is added to the swag. So I cut 12 at 17 inches, and I'm going to do a ruffle method on every one of those and add one to every pipe cleaner. And this does make this a very nice and full swag. Once I have all that cut, I've got my ribbon. This is a 1.5-inch houndstooth, and I am going to cut 13-inch ribbon tails, and I'm going to cut 12 each of the 1.5-inch ribbon and the 2.5-inch ribbon. I'm not going to show me cutting the 2.5-inch, but I do show this because you just really need to see it once. And then once I take it off of the measure buddy, then I go ahead and cut them into the individual tails. And then I will take, because it's my 1.5-inch, I will take and actually cut the ends at an angle. But for the 2.5-inch ribbon, I cut those tails at a dovetail. So once I've got everything cut, then I'm showing you how I set up my sets of ribbon tails. I just place one on top of the other one and go ahead and fold them over, and this just helps me have the centerpiece, have the center of each of the ribbon tails, and that's where I know to go ahead and grab them at. So I take and open one of the sets, and I just crisscross it a little bit. You do or you don't have to, whichever one's fine for you. And then I just give my tails a little curl. You don't have to as well. You can keep them sitting straight out if you would like. And then I just kind of make sure they're spread nicely. And I have 12 sets, so I do put a set in each of the pipe cleaners. Here I'm cutting the excess pipe cleaners off to about 1/4 inch, and then I'll just go ahead and tuck those in. Now this wreath so far is very busy. Yes, it is. And I kind of wanted it that way because of Halloween and the craziness. And so definitely, if you want to tone this down a little bit, definitely get a, I think that what would be best is if you had white, Deco mesh as the base, and then everything else can still be busy that you'll get with the ribbons and the wreath attachments, all of that. But as you can tell by the title of this video, this is a black and white Halloween swag. So what I have here is a harlequin foam witch's hat. And so what I'm doing is I'm just taking something and poking 2 holes into the witch's hat so I can use a 22-inch, I'm sorry, not a 22-inch, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of pipe cleaners, a 22 gauge floral wire. And then I'll just take that little gold buckle. It's just like a little piece of foam or something. So I go ahead and add some super glue, and let me brag on it. It is the Gorilla super glue. I love all of Gorilla adhesives, but what I like about this is you can either use the nozzle and squirt it or actually use the brush. And I like the brush because it allows a little bit more control, and to me, I'm not having to squeeze out the tube and stuff. So I'm going a little fast here, and I'm just attaching. So I've already attached the hat, and I've got the little witch body, and I'm attaching it to the wreath frame. I'm doing it a little fast because I do struggle here. I'm trying to get it to go sideways, and I had to push it through some mesh. So I just turned it on the back, and I trimmed down some of those wires, and then what I do is I tuck those into the Deco mesh, and you're none the wiser. So now that I've got that on, I am going to make 2 bows. I'm actually going to make a bow for the bottom left hand side, and it'll have like 7-inch tails, and sorry, the top of the bow will have 7-inch tails. The bottom will have 18 inches as tails. And then my loops go from 6 inches to just a little bit under that. Alright, so once I have my 3 ribbons added on there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm really, what I'm doing here is checking to see how much I have, making sure I had enough for the second bow. But, sorry for that. I am taking my pipe cleaner and I'm just going to wrap my pipe cleaner around it, tie it off very tightly in the back as I'm pinching my ribbons together. And then I twist the bow. I apologize, everything was so off screen. And for some reason my camera looks a little lower than normal today, so I apologize if it's too close. But then I take and I add my little bow right here to the left hand corner. I didn't want to cover up the witch's body. I thought it was so stinking cute. Now let me just tell you, all of these supplies, except the pipe cleaners, is from Craft Outlet. I cannot brag enough on Craft Outlet, on their prices, on everything. And I have gone to other sites and thinking I'll purchase something from other sites, and I just don't. And I'm not sponsored or anything, but I just absolutely love them because $69 and above you get free shipping. Their shipping is really quick. That normally it says it'll take longer than it actually does. And they always pack everything very nice and neat. They always have a huge sale going, up to 30%, 35% off of items. And they always have a bunch of new stuff that comes in as well. So if you haven't, check them out. I think you would love it. Now I did get some of this black and white greenery just as some accents, and I thought it would be really cute to add onto here. So basically I'm just taking some of the twigs, and wherever I have the ribbon tails is where I'm adding them in. And this is the final reveal. I absolutely love it. I think it's so adorable. I love the black and white theme. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. And I hope you guys have a very blessed week.